Welcome everybody to episode 144 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We're your hosts Adam, Amy and Russell Gibson, back for another week, and we are in the middle of the playoffs. Russell, how are you?
Good, man. I'm really good. Hope everyone at home also as well. They've had a really lovely week. And the show is packed again, man.
It happens this time of year.
Yeah, it's just everything's going on, so let's just jump straight into it.
Yeah, look, there's lots happening. We can pretty much pick our point and just start wherever. Where would you
No
like
need
to
to
begin?
dilly-dally.
No dilly-dallying.
Look, I think we should start with Card Ladder. This is
Cool.
kind of big news. They are the current kings of the jungle when it comes to grading, so
They are.
when you get an announcement like this, it's always good to hear. So I think, in a one-line summary, what they've done is they've redesigned their cases.
Yep.
The key points are that aesthetically they look exactly the same.
Yep.
But they've improved the edges, the features of the casing to make it better for us consumers. So ultra resistant, heat, humidity, water, UV light. It's also claiming scuffs, micro scratches, fumbled handoffs, the works. I'm very not convinced about the last bits, but that's fine. I'll roll with it, no problems. 20% heavier, which I don't know. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I suppose that means it's a sturdier part.
Yeah.
Now, this next bit is some hardcore physics. And, you know, we're all about the details and the physics and the hardcore details on this show. So
yes.
We're both scholars, aren't we, Adam?
Oh, very much so. We're armchair scholars, I believe. Is
Absolutely.
The term.
No movement, no miler, no sleeves, no unwanted illusions like Newton's rings. So add the next thing in the sheet is a link to Newton's rings. And this is a whole thing about basically people complaining about light reflecting through it. And it's basically where the card is pressed up against. Sometimes they're put into a plastic pocket and then into the PSA slab, and basically the card pushing up against that, and it's not actually moisture in there. And then people have gone into these huge deep dives about the different reasons for it happening, and then it got to the point where actually PSA came out and they wrote their own article explaining this whole Newton's rings scenario as it plays out. So
okay.
Not only have they addressed people's concerns about it, with an article, and we can put this onto the website so everyone can have a bit of a read of it. They've actually redesigned their slabs to stop this from happening. So, look, I think in terms of listening to a consumer and taking their feedback, this is top notch. This is A+. But at the same time, it's not something that actually happens a lot. You won't see that many slabs with Newton's rings on. It's not every slab that comes back like that, but still, This is for the hardcore nerds. So guys out there who have a physics degree and can understand this, I hope you enjoy the read.
That's it. If you want to explain a little bit more about theories on Newton's rings, yeah, definitely write to us. Let's talk about it. You know, the last slide has their little T's and C's on their. It's for standard sports cards only.
Yep.
2.5 by 3.5 by 0.4 of an inch with a 40-point max thickness.
Sure.
So any card above 40 point won't be in the new and improved encapsulation. Is that the method using?
I suspect for this though is that
the plan
it'll be just for now.
Yeah,
and they'll roll them out in future for everything else.
Of course.
Yeah.
But this is they're debuting with this size.
Yeah.
Pretty cool start to the week.
All right, Anthony Edwards.
That guy.
We hit on Anthony Edwards pretty early last week in the show, but I think considering the state of the market and what's happening, it's not too much of a push to talk about Anthony Edwards again. So
I was going to say that it did take off like a rocket ship. Has the rocket ship landed? I don't think so, but it may be a little bit more in Earth's orbit this week.
That's right.
Really tell the locker room staffer in Denver you were going to be back for
Hell
games?
yeah.
They know y'all was in there. Yeah, I told them. I said I'll see y'all for Game 7. Yeah.
So that's Anthony Edwards talking to the reporters last week, telling them that I'll see you for Game 7. So we've been talking about this guy, his swagger, his trash talk. That is an all-timer line. And obviously that's been censored for television and, of course, our kid-friendly podcast. But what a one-liner.
He's going to see us all for Game 7. Thank goodness he is.
So he played amazing in Game 6, and he literally just took that game by the scruff of the throat and he just owned it, which is very, dare I say it, Jordan-esque, which is something you've been touching on for a little bit.
It is. He's, Mr. Edwards has been doing some very interesting things.
As we slide in from trash talk and on-game playing, we can look at his PSA 10 card sales. Last week, the phrase that we used was exponentially straight to the moon, or, rocket ship into the sky. And this week we've seen actually almost the complete opposite. So as this straight line has gone up, it's a straight line that's come down. So last week we were talking about sales in the 1,600 mark. The last sale now is 1,100. So basically in a week it's dropped down about $500, which I've got to tell you, that was a little bit surprising for me. My general feeling was, yes, it's going to come down, but did I expect it to turn around, that quickly?
So I've got the 1 month up, and I'll share that with those playing at home.
Yeah,
because I think it's very it tells a story.
Yeah, sure.
So we look at the trend, and it back in like mid-April, it was trading at $600.
Yeah.
Great. So we get to the 3rd, 4th of May, and it's still under 1,000. And then as this sort of epic Anthony Edwards performance, as the performances started rolling, it did peak at I think it was 1758 was the high point on May 9th. Since then, you'll notice after the games, the last 3 or 4 days, it has been steady. Now, I admit that the reason it's probably dropped is because the Timberwolves did take games 1 and 2 on Denver's floor.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And then Nikola Jokic reminded the league why he has 3 MVPs and took games 3 and 4 on Minnesota's floor. So the fact that we are at a Game 7 shows that the price probably isn't going to go back down to that 600 mark, and that 11 to 1,200 is probably where is a good landing spot, because I think it's stabilized this week.
Yeah. So I do agree with you to a point that, the real-time play does affect values, but I think in such a short span of time like that, and particularly when you're listing cards with a 3 to 4 day window for auction, maybe actually up to a 7-day window for auction.
Yeah, good point.
You might not be able to exactly capture it where you wanted it. So what I suspect has happened is, and you can see here lots and lots and lots of sales as we're going on the way up, and on the way down you can sort of see the sales dropping off.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's just more people at that point selling than buying, and that's where it's coming down. And
market
the other thing
saturation.
Too, yeah, and I wonder a little bit too is where, and what we spoke about last week. I'm not professing to be a rocket scientist in this space, or even understanding Newton's rings, but at some point you go, look, I bought this for $300. It's now 1,000. Like, I'm very happy to flip this out, right?
Get it, yeah.
And then if you're lucky enough to get 1.6 for it, well, then you've just pulled off a Joshua Fruger, and you've done a good job. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. I do think there's been a bit of a hype train mentality.
Oh, for sure.
But we're definitely seeing sort of a market correction recently, and I don't think it's not plummeting because of the performances. I actually think you're right.
I think this is what you should expect to see, because sales in my mind is too high. So this is starting to sort out.
Yeah.
My gut feeling, this is going to go back to 600, 500 ad. The population on this. Yeah. The population this is not something that's rare. It's something that you'll be able to pick up every day of the week, and on Sundays.
So,
Do you know what I mean?
With our population problem, and it's one thing that I'm always on board.
I don't think it's a problem. I just think that it means that you can buy this card anytime you want, and I just don't see that you need to pay that much for it.
Okay, let's...
Yeah.
Because we all know who the biggest offenders are with regards to population are.
It's too early to start cursing the boy's name this
I was having a crack at Zion. I was looking.
Sure, you were.
I was looking up Luka. But
Sure
I'm
you
going to
were.
look up Zion because you're right. Zion's...
Luka deserves nothing but praise this week. I'm going to hold you to account on this.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I've got nothing but positive things. I think by being super positive, I can jinx him to losing the Western Conference Finals. Zion Williamson, population similar, right? 17, PSA 10. Who else? Ja Morant. I don't really have a point. I'm just trying to gauge what too high a population is. And I think Ja Morant's very similar to Zion, if not a bit lower. So yeah, all right, I will pick on Luka.
That's fine, sure.
Not pick on Luka. We're just data checking.
Highlight, discuss.
Yeah, this is a quick comparison, right? Silver PSA 10. There's more than 500 more. The population's 2,290 something.
Sure.
2,295.
Which is not that surprising considering he's a little bit older and a bit more popular in the card hobby space.
Yeah. Over 3,000 total gems if we're going to go back to the pop report.
You can cite that, but I'm not ready for that to be gospel in my head. I still haven't ratified all that out. Much love, Ryan. Yeah.
So the total gem report is 1,800. So we're still 1,200 short of the Luka pop.
So where are you going with that though? Like, why does that make you feel good? Does it make you feel bad? What's your thoughts?
Well, Luka's sort of come down and settled at that 12 to 1,300 mark.
Sure.
And his pop count is higher.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I think Anthony Edwards should be in the same discussion skill-wise and elite player-wise as Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
I think that what he's doing at the moment is justifying his level of play. He's elevating to superstar level. So I think maybe that's superstar price.
I'm saying this is going to come down to $500-$600, and that's probably where it will settle. Whereas in your head, you're like, actually, you could see this coming to around that sort of $1,000 mark.
Yeah, that 1,000 to 1,200 might be its
mark. Yeah, cool. Yeah, okay. No
worries. That was the experiment. It wasn't a dig at Luka. Not yet.
No,
I'm
totally
holding
fine.
that one for later.
Another one I found of Edwards, which, to be honest, I like this more than anything that we've spoken about so far, is the blue number to 199 PSA 10. That last sold for 7,800. In terms of obviously the grading, the color match, and then also the scarcity, this ticks a lot of boxes for me. Obviously, price point makes this a lot more difficult, but I think in terms of collectability, something that you just put into your safe and put away forever, this is the type of card that has got that written all over it for me. So
I've got a question about the color match now because I'm going
to me.
Is the green? Have you seen the Timberwolves lime green thing? Is the green?
I love
prism
that.
Is the green prism a color match?
I've got a Wolves t-shirt with that bright
lime.
lime green lettering on it. I love it. Yeah, so I'm a total tragic for that.
I mean, the green's not the same on the.
There
prism.
is a fast break lime green, but there's the prism green that you're talking about from retail. No, that's not a color match.
No.
But the fast break lime green, I'll buy that. I'll accept that. Do you know what? In Select, there's that horrible ultraviolet lime green. That is a genuine color match. Now we're talking. That's a chase.
That would be a chase.
I'm putting that into the run sheet. Yeah.
I like that. We're looking for it. For it.
All right, let's go. Let's go to a break because we are trying to break things up a little bit differently this week so we can facilitate the radio show, which is a perfect time to thread in centralcoastradio.com. Please check them out. We are on 10 a.m.s on Thursdays.
Yes.
We are also on Tuesday nights too.
Nice.
11 p.m. to 1 a.m. We're trying to get the US market in that. We play songs, we have the radio show, and then if you like some of the other content, hang around and see what else is going on Central Coast Radio.
Yeah, it's a lovely little station, and we're really happy to be on board with Central Coast Radio.
So, sponsorship-wise, the Bangman, their gold edition from May has completely sold out. So, congratulations to Team Bangman on exhausting their allocation. They do have the May bronze edition left over. Prism Cello, Prism Blaster Pack, Mosaic Fanatics Blaster Pack, Optic T-Mall, Flux Blaster, Select T-Mall, Select Fanatics Blaster Pack, Hoops Premium Mega Pack, Hoops Blaster Pack, Chronicles Blaster Pack, complimentary sleeves and top loaders in each box. Payment ID, PayPal, Afterpay, ZipPay, they've got it all. Contact Amir on the Bangman Instagram, Facebook. He will take care of you. Customer service is A+. Check them out.
Still bronze edition. I want some.
Okay, we're back. Thank you so much for coming back. We hope you enjoyed the break. Adam, should we talk about GameStop?
Yes, well, if you don't want to go to your friendly local trading card store, apparently now you can go to your local GameStop if you're over in the States, and they're accepting trade-ins.
So I'm trying to think of the Australian equivalent of this. I think probably the easiest one to say is...
EB?
Yeah.
EB Games.
So the equivalent is that EB Games are now accepting cards for trade and for cash.
Imagine
now,
that.
The really interesting thing about it is not all of the shops are accepting trades.
Okay.
And then people on Instagram have been going off on this a little bit. So basically the deal is you go in, you don't negotiate with somebody, they take the card, but they have to be PSA graded, and then there's a pricing index in their computer system, and it says, we will offer you this many dollars for this card, or this much trade-in for this card.
Okay.
And then you have to then decide, I will take it or I will not take the deal. Basically, that's it. So there's no one standing at the desk, checking comps, negotiating with you. It's literally you versus the database.
Wow.
Would you be interested in something like that?
It depends what I'm selling. I'm probably not taking my Kobe's down, like my Kobe rookies down to offload.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a comment actually in the in the IG posts here that where are we?
There's heaps of stories online about this, so you basically just need to go on and just find something and read it.
Yeah.
And look, you'll find different sources to what I've just said. I'm sure that there'll be someone that said the total opposite.
There was a manager of a store that was basically an area manager that was like the max they can offer you is $500 because of certain controls they have.
Yeah, sure.
So they can only offer you a certain amount of money, and it's very rigid. So
yeah, sure.
I wouldn't be expecting to take a $200 card into. And we'll use the EB example, into my local EB, and expecting to get full value or even half value. There would be a formula of sorts, and the member of staff would have to comply with whatever policy they have.
Oh yeah, it's literally just
website says X. Yeah.
I like this for the fact that in the back of your mind, it's always nice to know that your cards have value and you can trade them in for, cash or something else. So, I like this a lot. I suppose where I'm wondering where this is going to end up, does that mean they're trying to get more into the card space? Does that mean
probably
in the future they'll be doing deals with Fanatics and they'll be doing distribution through their stores? I'm just trying to think of what the angle is sort of outside of...
Surely there's some goings on with our friends at Fanatics, yeah.
And I don't want to sound like a pessimist about all this, but it just seems to me at the moment there's a lot of angling and sort of behind the scenes stuff where everyone wants to get into bed with Fanatics and just see, where it takes them. So anyway, I think we don't need to talk too much more about that.
No, it's interesting. I'm looking forward to the day that EB is accepting it because I'm curious to know what would happen.
So this next one actually was born out of a chat room that I'm in. So this is 100% credit to Zebulon Campbell. So Zeb, thank you so much for letting us share this because the response we've had has been fantastic. So very, very simple question. do you want a Kaboom or do you want a blank slate? And I didn't choose this year's blank slate being the black one because I know a lot of people aren't that fond of it. So I chose the classic blank slate. I chose this year's blank slate because actually I don't mind it. And for the example that I used, it was 2 Anthony Edwards cards. So it wasn't about player versus player, one player in a Kaboom, one in a blank. It was like I tried to make that as clear as I could. And I thought, considering how hot Anthony Edwards is at the moment, I thought that was also very appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through and count all of the votes and say blank got this many votes and Kaboom's got this, but Kaboom won by an absolute country mile. Which
quite a bit.
I wasn't really too sure. I thought Kaboom was going to win, but at the same time, there was definitely a chance that the blanks would come through. It does just solidify my belief about the long-term value of Kabooms and how
it's true.
They are the modern PMG, and probably this has just solidified that. But there is some definitely interesting comments. So I thought what we could do, Ad, is go through some of the comments and read those through.
Yeah. Like we've got comments. Yeah, there's from where are we? Is this on our group?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's read. There's a lot of one-liners or one-worders, but
some people have put in a bit of time and thought into it. So
agreed. Let's go through the comments that have got some.
I'll do Instagram and you do Facebook. How about that? So, SWAT team cards, blank slate. Love the clean look. Kabooms are too busy for me. Yeah, and I think that is very much probably where the line is drawn. And actually that summarizes it so beautifully, doesn't it? Some people just find them too busy. Yep. Whereas I think on the other hand, the thing that people love about the Kabooms is that busyness, that explosiveness, that in your face. So, yeah.
That's what it is. You've hit it in one. I've got Timothy Price on our Facebook group. I'd personally go with the Kaboom. While I appreciate the rarity of the slate, it's still from a retail product. I think the hobby exclusive Kaboom will be better in the long run.
Do you think that matters though?
Where it's from?
Yeah, because
is that a market cap, like a rarity thing though?
I think that's true to an extent, but I think they've printed I think there's a lot more case hit Kabooms than we probably realize. And I think the next couple of years, that's really going to show up in the pop reports in terms of PSA. Where I would definitely push back on that is that actually a case of blasters, if you're paying retail, is probably about the same price of a case of Kabooms. Like, you know what I mean? Like
for sure.
They're selling for $300 a piece. Oh no, my numbers are a bit out here. No, so Crown is still more expensive, but it's not like you're comparing like a true retail product. Like the price on those Court Kings blasters are quite expensive.
Quite actually. You're right. You've got a very, very valid point. I do have a short one that I will read out though, because I feel like Andrew Dean, long-time listener of the show, was trying to do his best Russell impression here. Kaboom all day, delicious.
Delicious. Yeah.
We got another Instagram one there. Is there any?
Yeah, so actually this one I wanted to read through. So this is from Garth Kingy.
Yeah.
I love this topic because it says a lot about what type of collector you are. For me personally, slate is a bit too basic as a collector. I remember back in the 90s, my favorite inserts were the Block Party and the Fireballs. I love how the Kabooms just pop with a mix of different colors and effects. So yeah, that's definitely great. Cyril Q, I've owned both slates and Kabooms. I've just had a personal liking to shiny things, I guess. Favorites are from 20 to 22 too. And look, maybe at the end of the day too, that's just what we like. We like big shiny cards and, big shiny cars, something like this, right?
Yeah, this is true. This is true, right?
Yeah.
What have I got? I've got Scotty James has said blank slate, they're just so clean. Anyone on the blank slate train?
What's your personal favorite, Ad? What do you go for?
I'm a Kaboom. I do like a Kaboom. Jeremy Grindle, Kabooms, tick. Closest thing to the PMGs of now, as you did state. Yeah. And then Joe Fu, Kaboom, hands down. They'll age better as people can't resist shiny cards.
And the other thing too is, do you own a Kaboom or a blank slate?
Do I own one?
Yeah.
I have one. A Kaboom.
What do you got?
I've got a Scottie Pippen Kaboom.
Yeah, right. That's right. I wasn't too sure if you had a Kobe or not.
Yeah. I don't have a Kobe. Kobe's on my want list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to own a Kobe Kaboom. But yeah, I picked up the Pippen, the last hobby hangout we were at.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of comments. Where are we? All comments from the US Sports Cards Australia post.
I think I've run through those already.
Have you?
Yeah, sorry,
Brilliant.
mate.
Brilliant.
I just did those all in one.
All in one hit. Yeah, true. Got the busy. Oh,
all right.
Are we still on the hunt for Kabooms that are like value price less than $200?
100%.
Yeah. Have you got an update for that?
I do not.
I haven't.
What was I supposed to?
No,
what was I supposed to update?
Have we seen any?
Oh, that was that. You're referring to the post that someone was asking to buy Kabooms for $200.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Have we found any? No. Still?
Not that I have been spending my life dedicated to this cause, but
just in passing. Just in passing.
No,
any Kabooms going for less
never
than
in
$200?
passing.
No.
Sorry, I was very slow to pick up that ball. Then what you were referring to. All right, I think what we should do is just take this time to introduce the next part of the show and what I was hoping to do today, and then I think we will have our second break.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And then we'll come back and we'll get into it. So basically what we did last week was we looked at plays that were impacting each series.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did a whole series of player versus player. So this week I wanted to do basically the same exercise, but from a different perspective. So who are the plays that we didn't talk about last week that we probably should be talking about? So the prospects, the players who are sort of sitting under that sort of second layer.
Okay.
Who needs a little bit of hobby love still. So, for example, for Denver, we're going to do Christian Braun and we're going to do Aaron Gordon.
Is it Braun or Brown? It's pronounced. It looks like Braun, but they say Brown on the telecast. Anyway,
do they?
They do.
I always thought they say Braun, but with an American accent.
That's possible too. It's
But
now I'm curious.
I can't confess to you that my strong point is pronunciation of complex names. So
that's all right.
Yeah.
I just hear things and I'm like, this is interesting.
Now I'm getting stressed out about saying Eamon Thompson. Is it Armin or
could be
Eamon?
Armin? Could be Armin. Could be Eamon.
That's right. Like,
could be Omen. Who knows?
Anyway, that's what we'll get to after our next break. We'll be right back. The Bangman, our proud sponsor to the podcast. Thank you so much to Team Bangman for your ongoing support. April Bronze Edition is out. It is absolutely loaded. Value galore here. The highlight of this month's Bronze Edition is 5 different rookie classes. That's right. You have the opportunity to hit top rookies out of 5 different rookie classes. And this is absolutely packed. Prism, Select, Mosaic, Optic, Flux, Hoops Premium, Donruss. Bronze packs are predominantly retail products, so blasters, megas, T-Mall is what you're looking at here. But in terms of a fun rip, you cannot go past this. $129 delivered. There is no room for a promo. This next ad break is brought to you by Slambox, Australia's best value basketball repacks. Visit www.slambox.com.au to check out the latest series or join the Slambox Facebook page and message them directly. Slambox features big name autos including Giannis, Zion, LaMelo, Banchero, Chet, Ja, Tatum and more. Super short prints, case hits from a variety different products including National Treasures, Flawless, Noir, Immaculate, Impeccable and more. Slambox has different tiered product levels to cater for all budget levels and collector preferences. Thank you Slambox for your support. We are back. Thanks everyone for coming back. Adam, thank you for coming back. I couldn't do this without you.
Well, since you told us what was happening, I didn't want to run out.
Leave.
I didn't want to leave. I was I'm tempted now to stick around and talk about players we didn't talk about.
Alrighty, so really the genesis for this whole segment came from Christian Braun. So when I was watching Game 5, I thought Braun played an amazing game. I thought off the bench he brought excellent defense, and I thought he brought enough scoring that, he's really solidified his place in the rotation now. And I think also too, if you're being realistic about it, if you're putting somebody on the opposition's best scorer and you trust that guy, and that was the feeling that I got from that moment, was that he had complete trust from the coaching staff. He had trust from his teammates, and he played a pretty good game. Look, I think anyone that's playing against Edwards isn't expected to go out there and excel, but I think they're supposed to just do a good job, and I think that's what he did. And so, really, I was like, look, we need to talk about this dude. He's not on card ladder in terms of the indexes, so what we're just going to do is just go through a comp and just froth over Christian Braun for a little bit. I thought this one was really cool, though. So select die cut, number to 249. It's a blue, which is, nearly a color match, but like low-key color match. This sold for $35, PSA 10.
Nice.
Look, to get a die cut PSA 10 is quite difficult. So
that was,
for me, this is a good buy for two reasons. He's on a winning team. He's still a prospect, and it's a die cut that's PSA 10. So, I'm really high on this. So really, really good purchase on this. The next one I thought we could talk about is Aaron Gordon. Now, I'm going to mix this in. Just bear with me for a second. I thought we could do a three-way player versus player. Aaron Gordon.
Okay.
So he's our Nuggets guy. Now, I wanted to compare him to an ultra modern. So I'm doing Eamon Thompson for the Rockets. And similar-ish type of game. Okay. Not exactly the same, but ballpark. And then I thought I'd do an all-timer.
So it's like a past, present, future.
Exactly.
With the new guy, the ultra-modern being the future.
Yeah. Eamon Thompson, Aaron Gordon, and James Worthy. And they've all got very different populations. They've all got very different, points in their career. So let's start with the youngest guy in this group. So it's Eamon Thompson. Again, has not been indexed in the ladder, on card ladder, so we're just looking at sales here. His raw silver prism is selling for $15. So we've spoken about this the last couple of weeks with even the likes of Paulo Banchero, where the players, you buy these cards raw, you send them to PSA. I think this is the perfect example of that. In terms of his other cards, his red, white, and blue prism is selling for like $7. There's an optic there for $1.50. Look, this guy is not selling for big dollars at all. Probably the highest value card that we've got out of all of these is his Prism autograph to 99, which sold for $92. Now, this is really a side note on this, and we've been speaking about this the last couple of weeks. I actually feel there's a market change here in the sense that Prism autographs is not something that's really chased heavily, but I think the aesthetics of them this year are actually a lot better, and they are selling. I don't think we saw sales like that the last couple of years.
Yeah, do we think it's something they've worked on? Like now they've improved the aesthetic.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because as a manufacturer though, like, do they care what the secondary market feels about it? Like the product sells because of the silver prism, so it's interesting.
I think it's very important that they produce products that are aesthetically pleasing and that people desire. Do they care about the after sale part of it? I don't think specifically. I don't think that's their major thing, but at the same time, they know what's in play here. People want to buy a sealed box and get some value out of it. Like they're not idiots to that.
Yeah.
Hey, last one. Actually, let's do this last one, then we'll move on. So this is the Hoops card. Really interesting. The way they've listed this is case hit SSP. So that is not as I understand it. My understanding is it's one per box. So again, always buyer beware when it comes to eBay listings. Now that sold for $22.50. That's the same guy that drew the original Kaboom. We've touched on this a little bit, so I'm just recapping here really quickly. But in terms of a chase set, I like that so much. For $22.50, you're getting the artwork of the original Kaboom dude. I'm all over that. I think that's a beautiful purchase.
So
I think to summarize here...
So I'm just getting the photos up to show everybody.
prospecting here on a very affordable prospect. That's where we're going with that. Now, the next guy is Aaron Gordon, who is in Card Ladder. Thank you, Card Ladder.
Thanks, Card Ladder, for having Aaron Gordon appear.
Silver PSA 10, last sold for $120 USD. Now, you're going to froth over this ad. Population on this is 37. So, for me, is this a buy, hold, or a sell? I love this as a purchase. I think this is fantastic.
I think this is a very be a very prudent sale. It would be better. Yeah, Aaron Gordon. I don't know. I wish he'd won. Like he in my mind, he's a dunk competition person, and now all of a sudden he's this role player. I think he'll go down in history, and it might be worth the investment. It's not big money.
So maybe the better comp here is, say, Aaron Gordon to Robert Horry, where, I would probably say Aaron Gordon's a little bit better than Robert Horry, but, Horry was the ultimate role player who just went on to win, 7 championships.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get to 7, but he might get to 3. That's not unreasonable to say that.
Yeah.
I think he's an amazing role player, and he's one step above a role player, but not a star. I don't know what you would even call that.
All right, so where does Aaron Gordon rank in this Denver unit? And I mean, they're pretty well constructed. He's the number 3 guy. He's the number 4 guy.
He is their clear number 3.
He is the clear number 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Murray is definitely number 2. I'm not even going to say who's number
Porter
1.
Jr.?
Like 4.
You reckon?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Earlier through the season, I would have said Michael Porter was above Gordon as far as where they rank. But you're right. In the playoffs, Aaron Gordon's really stepped up and playing a very vital role.
In terms of team importance, I think I would put Porter Jr. and Gordon in the same sentence. But I would say that Aaron Gordon, in my mind, is more valuable because he can rebound, defend, handle the ball a bit better. Whereas the thing that makes Porter Jr. so special is his shooting. I just feel like anytime you leave him open, that's just bottom of the net. There's not that many guys in the league I feel like that about.
Yeah.
All right. Then our last one is James Worthy. So how this is going to play out in our true comps here is, it's a little bit unknown, but still it's kind of a cool one. I thought it's always good to look back at some old school dudes. I love James Worthy, but I would also put him in the same sort of thing as Aaron Gordon.
Agreed. I
just a really good role player, and he was a really good, number 2 or number 3, wherever you thought he was on that team.
For sure,
but, yeah. Base PSA 10 1986 Fleer, pop of 134. So, it's still higher than what Aaron Gordon is, but it's not outrageously higher.
Not outrageously. It's very popular set, this 86 Fleer.
$2,395 US dollars the last sale on that.
And that last sold May this year. So there was one sold recently.
Of all those 3 cards, Ad, what would you say is you would be looking to buy the most, or you'd be looking to sell the most, or what do you feel the strongest about on those 3 cards?
What do I feel the strongest about? I'd probably go the Worthy because of my Lakers affiliation, but
okay.
I do like the Gordon at that price point.
At that price, me too. That's how I feel. I'm like, that looks like a pretty nice little buy.
But I mean, PSA 9 of that last sold for $300. So the James Worthy. So I'd probably even think about, but that's got a higher pop. Yeah, I don't know. The Aaron Gordon's probably where I'm at.
Okay.
Although, Thompson. I think there's pros and cons for all of it. Obviously, James Worthy's career is set in stone. Aaron Gordon's a lot of the way through his career. And Thompson hasn't yet really shown us what he can do.
Yeah.
So I guess prospecting-wise, you'd take Thompson, but James Worthy if you want stability.
So this next one is for the Pacers and the Pacers fans. And actually, I'm enjoying this one for myself, for my own sort of learning, really, because the general consensus on the Pacers, I think from the commentators who are intelligent, so the Zach Lowe's,
the
NBA DraftNet guys, et cetera, is basically that, they've had a pretty good run. If they get to the next round of the playoffs, it's not so much that they're a fantastic team. They've had some really good injury luck. And so where does the improvement come from this team? Now, do they go out and take a big swing to get like another big player to come in?
Oh, good question, yeah.
Or do they just keep playing the patient game that they've been playing and just sort of keep building up? Or is actually they're going to be capped out between Spicy P, Tyrese Halliburton, and maybe a Miles Turner extension actually is all their money spent. So the improvement has to come from within. If that is the case. So last year they took Jarris Walker at number 8. At number 8, you should expect the absolute bare minimum to be a rotation player. True. If not a starter, if not an all-star / 20 points per game. So I don't know a lot about this dude. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like I watched a reasonable amount of paces last year, but he's not someone that's, coming to the forefront of my mind, screaming out. So
yeah,
in my head, this is a deep prospect, but I like this type of good prospecting in that, he's on a good team. He's coming from a high draft pick. And let's think about somebody else that came from this similar stock is Jonathan Kuminga, right?
True.
Jonathan Kuminga should have, on any other team that wasn't the Warriors, he would have been playing twice or 3 times the amount of minutes that he was playing in his first couple of years.
Yep.
And now, actually, he's coming along quite nicely. So
very much so. Yeah, this is true. This is true. The exposure.
Look, I like this dude. Looking through his sales, it's also kind of exciting too. So number to 199, which is the blue, that sold for 26 USD. Okay. That is an absolute bargain, particularly if this guy, comes through and, actually plays really well.
Yep.
This is from Select, so it's a little bit trickier to comp out, but at the same time, it's still here. So number to 99, the pink ice that sold for $4.25. Okay. So you're sort of getting a bit of a gist here. Like, this is all dirt cheap.
It's all dirt cheap, so it's deep prospecting if you want to give it, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like this is easy money's not the right word, but this is kind of like a smart play because, high draft pick on a good team, it's gonna come through.
Yeah.
Choice rookie for $199.
Okay.
So maybe this is the better question. Do you buy in on someone like this? So I've been buying Herb Jones because Herb Jones is kind of the same price point.
Fair.
Maybe Herb is a little bit more expensive at the moment, but it's really the same type of thing. You're hoping that he's going to get a few more minutes and be in the rotation a bit more. And a little bit of obviously improvement from his end, but
yeah. I don't know. I think prospecting at that level is always a bit of fun. Like it's not too much of a risk.
Yeah.
There's clearly potential there if there's success.
Yeah.
And it's even if the needle moves a little bit, it's still.
Did you say the noodle?
The noodle. I started with noodle and then I said needle. I'm sure I said needle.
This is not a cooking show, Adam.
Isn't it?
We could do food.
Yeah, look, they're a bit. I don't know. Anthony Edwards has been cooking.
Alrighty, let's do Miles Turner.
Miles Turner.
No one talks about Miles Turner.
No, and I think it's one of those things where I think he's an acquired taste. We talk about bigs have to be dominant, right? To be sort of, and Miles Turner just goes about his job, and there's nothing wrong with that. But hobby wise, I struggle. What have you got for our friend Miles Turner?
Well, just to add to what you just said, then it's true, but also Indiana doesn't get a lot of national media, and I think people are watching the playoffs. They'll be seeing the game tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow's game is pretty, isn't this like the 30-year decider?
Yeah.
From 1993 and 94, or was it 94?
The Reggie
95?
Miller choke game, absolutely.
Yeah. This is it, and it's at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And Reggie will be on the commentary team. This is going to be great.
This is great exposure for Halliburton. It's great exposure for Miles Turner. I think it's nothing but good news for their card value. Anyway, look. I think the market agrees with what you're saying, though, with acquired taste. So 2015 Miles Turner Ruby Wave, number to 350.
Yep.
PSA 9, this is. PSA 10, I lie to you. That sold for $52. Okay. So basically for nothing. Yeah. For anything that's numbered PSA 10, you're expecting a much higher, return on that. A
Mm.
silver 9, that's where I got confused with the 9 and 10. That sold for $12. So basically,
Okay. So if you're a long-time Indiana fan and you want to collect this team, you're not going to struggle
that's right.
some Miles
If you're
Turner
a
stuff.
PC guy, this is an absolute dream for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
I do find that in the hobby, people do collect their players from an era or a team.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like if this Indiana team is the beginning of something bigger for the Pacers, right? And you're a Pacers fan, picking up a Miles Turner rookie card for your little display tribute to the 23-24 Pacers is not going to be problematic. The Halliburton might be.
Yeah.
But definitely not the Turner.
Yeah. Alrighty. Why don't we have a break and we'll come back and we'll do the Celtics.
Let's do it.
Great. And we are back. I'm feeling energized, feeling refreshed. Let's bust into some Celtics. So,
can't say I'm excited to talk about the Celtics, but yeah. All right.
Well, you have to be for this segment, Adam. So this is actually from one of our listeners at home, Matthew Hull. So Matthew, thank you so much for all of your chatter and contributions to our group. We really appreciate it. And he wanted to talk about Jordan Walsh. So the game log on Jordan Walsh is not pleasant. It's not really something that you want to look at, to be honest. And to be perfectly honest with you, the amount that he played this year is so little that, to me, the data is almost insignificant. It's so hard to actually analyze and sort of gauge off this kid.
Yeah.
So I've actually gone back to NBA DraftNet, who have written an amazing analysis of his strengths and weaknesses. They've given us the full breakdown. So some of his strengths are that he's basically someone who can move around the floor really easily. He's got good range on his shot. He's a good leaper and a relatively good defensive player who'll be versatile. And I think we should sort of leave it at that. So the NBA comparison they've got is Damari Carroll and Ronaldo Balkman. Ronaldo Balkman was a player from the 80s and 90s for you guys who are, born in the 2000s or even 2010s who might be listening to our show.
Yeah.
Google this guy because he used to shoot from some crazy distance and used to put buckets together really quickly. I do remember that guy. Look, I got to be honest with you, mate. I'm a little bit... Is Jordan Walsh who I want to be, buying into? I'm really not too sure. I think the problem is with these guys, particularly on these, genuine championship level teams.
Contenders, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so hard for them to become, roster players and rotation players.
Can I put a name forward that I may have raised before?
Yeah, sure.
Derek White.
Okay.
Sold.
Can you hold that thought for 2 seconds? I'll do two comps for Jordan Walsh.
Okay, so we are going to look at Walsh. Oh, there are sales.
Yeah. So
I thought you were going to show me there are no sales.
Red to $2.99 sold for $9. So we're talking basically like Carlson Wallace prices here.
Yeah. Yeah. What's his name? The guy from Indiana.
Jarice Walker is what we're...
Walker. Yeah.
It's a very similar sort of prices, right?
It's a deep cut.
And if I go even, to do a comp between those two, well, then I'm definitely going for Walker, and I'm not looking at Walsh at all. So Crown Royale photo exclusive number to 17 on card autograph for $53. So we're talking again here.
What? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, do your Derek White thing, mate. I know
White
you're busting to put love on this kid.
Silver PSA 10 last sold for $75 US. This is a guy that is not the number 1, not the number 2, not even the number 3 guy in Boston. He's the only one I'm going to talk about in Boston.
Okay, hang on a second.
Because he's a Spur.
Sorry, who's number 1 and who's number 2, first of all?
Tatum.
Because that's not clear cut.
It's Tatum or Brown, 1 and 2.
Okay. Yeah, hang on. Which one? Which one do you say?
Tatum.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So number 2 is
Brown.
Number 3?
I don't know who number 3 is in Boston. I think
because now Porzingis is out again.
Well, I'm telling you, Al Horford's not the guy. Maybe so Derek White is. Maybe
is it your boy number 3?
Yeah. Maybe he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so at 75 USD, is he a buy, a hold, or a sell?
I don't like him still. You're not changing my mind about this guy.
I like it.
No one cares about Derek White.
I do. I care deeply. No, I don't. I just think he's a product of the Spurs system. He should have ended up in not Boston. He's underrated, and I think he's a real reason that they are where they are. And that $75 price tag is well earned. Well earned, Derek White.
So you can have 1 Derek White or 2 Miles Turners. Is that what you're telling me?
Do you think more people know about Derek White or Miles Turner in the league?
Look, I'm probably just being ignorant at this point, but just to be annoying, I'm going to take 2 Miles Turners. I'm almost to the point now where I want to ban you talking about Derek White. I don't want to talk about Derek White again. I'm so over this.
If it makes you feel any better, Card Ladder says it's overvalued by 2%. So
that's the first time that Card Value and I have ever agreed on something. Thank you, Card Ladder. All right, New York Knicks, Miles McBride. This is actually worth talking about. So this kid has been playing good basketball, and I want to take this a step further. I actually think that his situation is obviously opportunistic with the injuries they've got on this roster, but Jay Hart got injured at the start of Game 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then they taped him up and he came back out and gritted it out. But what happens if he can't play? So who's the guy that's going to play, 40 minutes for the next game? Is it going to be McBride?
Maybe. He's got to play a full 48. That's the Tibbs way.
That's right. The other thing is that with them trading away quickly, my gut feeling was that they thought someone was going to emerge. So whether that was going to be DiVincenzo or it was going to be Hart or McBride, or realistically, it turned out to be Brunson. Really, wasn't it?
It was Brunson that exploded.
Emerged on a crazy way, but look, I don't mind McBride. Actually, I think he's a really interesting prospect in that he's right on the fringe of becoming, a very good rotation player. And the other funny thing about him is too, he's kind of gettable for other teams. And does a smart team come in and target him and say, "Look, we're going to make you our starting point guard or our 6-man, like a Malik Monk type, situation."
Yeah.
So, Optic Contenders rookie autograph for $1,750. Mosaic number to 85, PSA 10, $64. Panini autograph, Prism autograph, PSA 9 for $83. Which is way higher than what I was. So some of this stuff is actually going for more than probably what I was expecting.
Well, this is the difference between being a small market and a big market, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So if you scroll down, 20, 21, 22 Panini Flawless Rookie Patch Auto, number to 25, $144.90.
But that's peanuts. In the scheme of things, I would rather spend the extra $60 and pick up that Flawless than take home that PSA 9.
Would you take the number to 99 horizontal?
Well, the 25 for 144, that's delicious.
Yeah. Then you've got 51 for the number to 99, the National Treasures.
I think Flawless number to 25 for
140, $145, yeah.
I can easily justify that, man.
But there's a lot of double figures prices here.
Yeah, but that whoever purchased that, congratulations to them. That's the perfect card just to put away and hope that McBride explodes, and then you've 10x your money easy, honestly.
Oh, red,
anyone else you want to talk about on the Knicks?
Just Thibodeau.
Yeah, sure. Tell me your Thibodeau take.
He's gonna run those players into the ground. So if he's the 7th, 8th, or 9th man on the roster, Don't be prospecting on them because he won't play them.
That's like saying I'm going to drink coffee in the morning.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
but there's no deep cut guy on the Knicks roster because Tibbs won't play them.
My wife doesn't ask me, did I drink coffee this morning? It's just an assumption, you know? How was your coffee today, darling?
So is this how...
How are those players' knees, Tibbs?
Who wins Game 7? Who wins Game 7? It's at Madison Square Garden. This has been home team all the way. Does Indiana beat New York?
So my take this whole time has been the Knicks are going to run out of steam.
The day after you said that, the Pacers blew them out by 40 points.
Yeah, and then the game after this came back. So, like, I wasn't looking too pretty the day after that. But this Pacers team is actually looking okay.
They are.
Yeah. And Halliburton has been very up and down. So he just needs to have a good game. And then the Knicks need to run out of puff and everything will be fine. All right. Dallas Mavericks, Derrick Jones Jr., he has been probably my low-key prospect out of this series that has intrigued me the most because I feel as though he's just emerged in these playoffs just as much as Kyrie's D has emerged. Derrick Jones Jr. overall play for me has just probably been one of the most enjoyable things. And so in terms of buying his cards, again, you're not looking for a lot of cash here. NT rookie autograph number to 99 sold for $15.50. So,
okay,
you know, I think the critics of what I'm about to say now will say, well, he's old. There's no, legs in this. That's probably the ceiling of, what you're expected to go to. And look, that's probably true. But at the same time, I really like that as a purchase. And I think there is a small amount of upside there. Yep. Do you want to do PJ Washington or is that a little bit, is that too benign?
That's all right. PJ Washington's actually had some activity on Card Ladder.
Oh, cool. All right. Talk to me. I've got a little bit of PJ Washington. So
PJ Washington. Now, well, he is from the era of we want to grade everything. So the pop count on his silver PSA 10 is 811.
Yeah.
Understandably. But it's the Zion.
He was a first round pick. Yeah.
Yep. It's the Zion year. That's what I mean. Everything got graded that year. Pop count's 811. Last sold price 37 USD. So
okay. So I can't
seen
quite
a bit
retire
of
yet.
Bit of a resurgence. He did peak. Where are we? 6 months. He was up around the $50 mark earlier this month. So, yeah, maybe.
So I think for me, yeah, if he goes up a bit more, I'm probably happy to sell. But at the same time, I'm just going to hold on for another 12 months and then see where he's at.
See what happens.
I'm sort of at that point now. I'm like, I'm no real rush to sell this stuff, to be honest.
Fair.
Alrighty, this next stuff's just going to be pretty quick hitting, to be honest. So the whole Mavericks roster, the whole Thunder roster is basically prospects. So
yeah, you can prospect on anybody, really.
Yeah, but I think someone that we could talk about is Cason Wallace, just for the fact that he was getting a bit more burn, particularly when old mate Josh Giddey was shooting nunfers from the corners, but that's okay.
It's all right, Giddey. You play better in the Olympics.
So the Mavericks, we should probably just pay some flowers to this. The Mavericks did eliminate the Thunder today.
Yeah, they did. They did all right.
And there's not. If you're a Thunders fan, you have got nothing to be upset about. Don't listen to all this nonsense that's going on in the media. Your team is literally the youngest team in the league, and then you are the best regular season team. Like, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And you've got so much draft equity coming in. Like, you guys should be really happy and excited. So don't let anyone spoil your moment. And you played a great series.
They were up most of that Game 7. They were.
You just came across a team that's a little bit more experienced, and let's be honest, they've got a really good number one. The Mavericks have got the better number two than the Thunder's number two.
Sure.
And maybe it's as simple as that, So
yeah, agreed.
Cason Wallace, silver raw rookie, sold for $8.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
All right, this next one for you. This is something that we did last couple of weeks, is the fake trades.
So, yes, I have some of those.
Now, the whole thing behind this is what I was hoping people would do is they would write in their fake trades about the Atlanta Hawks. And so the Atlanta Hawks have got the number 1 pick.
Yep.
The probability that they were going to get that was actually 3%. So they've beaten all the odds to come through and get the number 1 pick. So what I was asking is what should they do with this pick? So Matthew Hull said they should trade it for Giannis. David Ralph said keep the pick, take Sarr, trade Capella, keep Onyeka, AG, Trey, JJ Murray, and Kobe. Trade the rest for Malik Monk, Paul George. Need some 3D guys, wings and trades. Basically to cover up for Trey's defensive weaknesses, and he doesn't mind Vanderbilt. Matthew Hull had another answer.
Wow.
Hawks trade. This is some crazy stuff. I love these crazy trades. Hawks trade number 1 to Lakers for Bron Sr. and Rui Hachimura. Now, I put that into the trade machine. It doesn't work. So you are going to win today's prize, Matthew Hull, but I reluctantly give it to you. The Lakers trade number 1 pick for 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and KD to the Suns. And again, I don't know where all these picks are coming from, but let's not let the truth get in the way of a good story. Bronny Jr. gets picked by the Bulls, and Bronny Sr. is then traded again to the Bulls with 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks in the next 2 drafts, and the Hawks get Levine and Caruso. All in all, the true winner is Jeff Wilson and Tops, as Cards HQ mastered this all along. Truly the Jeff Wilson show in Atlanta. So anyone that's listening live to this will hear me say Jeff Wilson, but the podcast is going to be beeped out. I refuse to say Jeff Wilson on this podcast.
That's fair. That's fair. Oh, goodness.
Matty Hull, that is amazing. So
Congrats.
congratulations.
Yeah.
You do win the... Oh, no, this wasn't a competition. Okay. I thought I had some prize money up for this. That's fine, Matty. I'll hook you up with some break credit on the break page. So
wow.
I'll shoot you a DM. Alrighty, so my trade that actually does go into the trade machine, Matty.
Uh-oh.
And I hope you will like this ad. I sort of did this for you, to be honest.
Uh-oh.
So the Hawks have got a few picks. They lucked out on the number 1. So they trade the number 1.
Yep.
The trade exception they got for John Collins, Clint Capella, and DeAndre Hunter to the Lakers.
Oh,
and in return, they get LeBron James. With their next draft pick, which they got from the Sacramento Kings, if I'm reading this properly, they select Bronny Jr. How's that for a fake trade, Ed?
The Hawks end up with Bronny and Bronny Jr.
Yeah. And basically just give up.
And we get Capella to go with what? With Anthony Davis.
But you get the number 1 pick too.
True. Okay. I'd take that. I'd very much take that.
That's what I thought. I thought that's
I like a
ridiculously crazy, but at the same time, it's not insane. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, what's your fake trade, Ed?
All right, so I came up with 2. I came up with one that was a bit outlandish and one that was very serious. So I think I'll discuss the outlandish one first.
Sure.
I have the Phoenix Suns trading Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal to the Atlanta Hawks in exchange for Trae Young, Clint Capella, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Sadiq Bey.
Okay.
Plus 2 first rounders, one of course being the number 1 pick, and a second rounder in 2025.
Okay. And did that go through the cap machine?
It goes through the trade machine.
I actually thought Bradley Beal was impossible to trade, but you've proven me wrong.
I did have to get rid of extra pieces, so. So yes, that's why Bogdanovic and Sadiq Bey were on the. That was a part of a sign and trade, but yes, the way the Hawks get KD is if they take Bradley Beal as well, and then the Suns get rejuvenated with obviously Trae Young, Capella, and some role players. So I don't know.
Okay.
And then they restock up on their trade pick, their picks. That is a bit crazy, and I don't think. I think Atlanta says no, because I don't think KD's as enticing as he used to be.
Yeah.
The more serious trade that I thought might be considerable
Yeah.
And once again, Trae Young comes into the picture. So the Hawks trade their Trae Young and their first pick for Zion Williamson, New Orleans' first round pick from next season, and Dyson Daniels. This also goes through the machine. So they swap picks, 24 and 25, basically. Zion ends up being a Hawk. Trae Young goes to the Pellies.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes the Pelicans better. I don't know if that makes the Hawks better.
Interesting.
But it's like, what kind of team would need to upgrade or would have personnel do you know, it's something they might want, that Atlanta might want. And I think Zion might be a piece.
The Hawks have to do something now. Like
they have to get rid of one of their pieces. It's either got
to be fortuitous luck. They have to either unload some of that bad salary
Murray or Young have to
improve.
Go.
Yeah.
One of the point guards has to go.
Something has to happen because it's such a great opportunity.
Yeah. Although it's not a great draft, so I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But still, to jump up the draft board that high, that's
Sure.
Congrats to Hawks fans.
Yeah.
All right. We haven't said the words Wemby tonight, which I'm feeling a little bit disappointed about. So
sure.
I'm going to fix this melody.
You fixed it. You just said it. Wemby.
Card ladder eye-catching sale. 1-of-1 Monopoly card sold for $20,875. BGS graded to an 8. Now, I am going to say this is a very strong buy for the following reasons. It's a 1-of-1.
That's a very.
It's graded to a reasonable level, but I'm going to put this into the category that even in the worst sets, there's one card that's worth purchasing. And I'm going to make the argument that this is the one card that is going to be worth purchasing, keeping in mind Prism, the true 1-of-1s, have been selling for $500,000.
Yeah, that's true.
I think in the context of that almost alone, I don't see this going down. I think this will just slowly trickle up over time. Whereas those ones that have sold for $500,000, to be honest with you, I'd be very worried in 2 or 3 times they're worth $400K or $350K. Albeit they're not going to be sold over like Silver Prism. So you might not ever know what they're worth for another 10 or 20 years, but
it's not a bad looking
that's where
card,
I sort of,
It's not a bad looking card.
Final thoughts for today's show, Ed?
I'm excited about the playoffs, the conclusion of the playoffs. I think
that's right.
We're at a point now where
Nuggets Wolves tomorrow can't miss.
This might be one of our last little prospecting things before we start talking about some big boys again, like some serious.
Yeah. We can go back to big boys next week.
Well, it's what's happening with these. Look, I think my final thoughts are: yes, you'll hear more about my thoughts on one Luka Doncic once we see where this journey ends, because I've been saying it all along. He needs to win to increase his market value. And today they won. They are now in the Western Conference Finals. So Luka is on his way to competing for a first ever championship. So we'll see what happens.
On a scale of 1 to 10, were you impressed with his play in Game 7?
I was impressed that he kept his cool. So apparently, the sooking to the refs has become a real problem.
They teed him up early, though, didn't they?
Yeah. It was.
I think he couldn't really sook anymore. I think that was it.
That was the plan. It's like, all right, we've had enough of this from LeBron. We know how to deal with it.
Yeah, that's right. Tee you up early.
That's it. You're
Have
done.
a nice, quiet game. Yeah.
That's it. But look, as I said, all props to the guy. Congrats to the Mavericks. Commiserations to the Thunder. I think the Game 7s that are coming are going to be absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, looking forward to the Western and the Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to be exciting.
I'm not saying commiserations to Thunder fans. They've got like the best young team in the league with 30 first-round picks coming in?
They lost today. Let them have a day of mourning.
Boo-hoo. Come on.
Fair enough.
Congratulations, Thunder fans. That's what I say to you guys.
Have some more first-round picks.
Yeah, that's right. You've had an amazing season. Congrats.
Yeah, they did.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Central Coast Radio listeners. Thank you, podcast listeners. We really appreciate you all.
And we'll see you next week.